Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be working on longest subarray with maximum bitwise and in this one you're given an integer array nums of size n. Consider a non-empty subarray from nums that has the maximum possible bitwise and. In other words, let k be the maximum value of the bitwise and of any subarray of nums, then only subarrays with a bitwise and equal to k should be considered. Return the length of the longest such subarray. The bitwise and of an array is the bitwise and of all the numbers in it, and subarray is a contiguous sequence of elements within an array. So here, the biggest bitwise and is this, which is 3. And this is kind of a pattern that you're going to see, so this is important. And then here, it's just 4. So the main thing to recognize that's going to make this problem easier is, let's say I'm storing some bitwise and, like I have some number. Let's just say we can draw it in an array. Let's say my number is a bunch of bits, and the number is like, let's say it's this, 1 0 1 0 1 maybe. So if I have this number and I AND it with a number, what can happen? So for AND, if our digit was a 1, AND with the 1 and a 1 is 0, 0 0 is 0, 1 0 or 0 1 is 0. So the main thing to recognize in a bitwise AND is once I have a total, if I have x and I do x and y, x can't get bigger, right? It can only be the same or get smaller. So it can be the same if I AND it with the same number, or some other numbers, but basically because I can't turn a 0 into a 1, right? Like this number has 1s and 0s, but I can never turn a 0 into a 1 by ANDing it with something, because if you have a 0 and you AND it with anything, it's 0. So the only way, so this number can be the same as long as these 1s are still here, and then these bits can be whatever, it doesn't really matter. Or it's going to get smaller if some of these 1s turn to 0s, right? Like maybe I AND it with a number like this. And that's the main thing you have to recognize, is because my number can only get smaller, when I AND numbers together, they can only get smaller. So then it's pretty obvious what the maximum possible bitwise AND is. The maximum possible bitwise AND is just the biggest number ANDed with a bunch of those, right? Because a number can only get smaller, anytime I have a number bigger than anything I've seen before, that number by itself. So like if I have some result, right? If I have a result and find a number bigger than that, that number is my new best bitwise AND, right? That number is just an array of that number. So if I have, an array of like 4, 5, 6, and I have the 4, that's going to be my best. But then when I hit the 5, that's going to be my best. And when I hit the 6, that's going to be my best. And if I AND the 6 with any number smaller than the 6, it will always decrease, right? Because if I have a number and I AND it with a number that's smaller than that number, it will always decrease. So my best thing is just get the biggest number. But the only thing you have to look for is, what if I have the biggest number a bunch of times in a row? Right, so if my array is like 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, well then I can just AND all of these together, and that would give me my best. So essentially, we can reword the problem to find the biggest number and the maximum times it occurs in a row. And that's basically it. So just find the biggest number and the maximum times it occurs in a row. So if we go back to these examples, biggest number is 3, it occurs twice, so that's our result. Here, biggest number is 4, it occurs once. So if our array was 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, that would be the best. But as soon as we hit a 5, the best bitwise AND is just the 5. And if we AND the 5 with a 4, that's going to be worse. So that's basically the problem. Once you recognize how ANDs work, it becomes really simple. Just find the biggest number and the biggest streak it occurs. So that's what we'll do. So we'll have a value. We'll say it's like -1 or something. That's going to be like our biggest number, biggest. And then we'll have a result, which is what we're returning. And then we'll have a streak, which will be 0. Then we can just loop through all of our numbers. So if our number is bigger than the biggest number. Then our new biggest number is just the number. And our old result is invalidated because that's no good. So result equals 0. And our streak is 1. Or if this number equals our biggest number, I guess we can put it here. Then whatever streak we had just continues. And our biggest number stays the same. And if we hit a number that is smaller than our current number, then our streak is basically just 0. But we don't actually need this because if we have like, let's say we have 3, 4, 4, 4, 1, basically what will happen is our streak will be 3 here and our streak will still be 3 here. So that's fine. So we actually don't need this else case at all, I don't think. And then basically all we have to do at the end is just say result equals maximum of the old result and our current streak. And because anytime we reach a number that's bigger than our old number, we reset our result, that'll be fine. You do have to do this because, like, let's say you had 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. You know, your result will be like 5 here, and then when you hit a 5, you want to reset the result because this is all invalid because we have a new biggest number. And then we just return the result. I think that's it. Oh. All right. Let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess we do have to, if we hit a number that's smaller, we do have to, yeah, because this breaks the streak. So I guess we do have to break the streak here, actually. Okay. Now I think it should be fine with that test case. Yeah. So we do have to break the streak because we can have that biggest number a bunch of times in a row, and then we can just hit like a 1 here and then have it again, which means we broke our streak. Yeah, so that's basically it. And so the main thing to recognize is just how ands and ors and stuff work. Ands can only make a number smaller, ors can only make a number bigger. Same thing with ors, right? If I or this with a number, I can't turn a 1 into a 0, right? Because ors, any one of these will be a 1. So with or, you can only make it bigger. With and, you can only make it smaller. And once you recognize that, the problem's pretty easy. So here, I mean, we are like, let's see what we're doing actually. We're comparing numbers, which is whatever. We're just going through the array once. So this is just linear. And that. Yeah, I think that's going to be all for that. Let's see what they said in the hints. So bitwise and will always be strictly less than the maximum. Yeah. So 2 different numbers. Yep. Yep. Okay. So the hints kind of tell you. But yeah, that's going to be all for this one. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.